Okay, so your tech use test indicates what you pretty much already knew. This is definitely a command center, or sorry, communication center of some description. At one point, the very powerful radar or Vox dish on top of the facility would have been able to send signals throughout most of the system around this planet, wherever you are, that is to say. However, the reactor that has been powering it for the last few years has mostly run out of juice completely and is on its last legs. You guessed that it could maybe last a couple more years relaying the message over and over again, but if you were to turn all the equipment on, it may last a week before everything finally butters out and dies, before there's no more fuel left to power everything. As for the rest of the machinery, it might be advantageous to turn on the power simply to look through the log files of the communications or even the archive systems to learn of like the various cogitators to learn about what this facility is or what planet you're on. But other than that, you could kill the repeating frequency if you wanted to, and try and send out another message. But like I said, in its current state, it seems to have been everything was powered down to conserve energy, and just repeat that message again and again in a very small distance, if you know what I mean. So there's no way the Inquisition will ever receive it unless they had someone on the planet within 200 kilometers, if you know what I mean.
Mm.
So you could power everything in the facility for like a week if you wanted to, and you'd have like running, showers and everything. But everything would gutter out in about a week, or you could like prioritize what systems you want to turn on again.
So
Um,
let me see if I understood. This isn't sending like message to outer space only for the
No,
planet.
it's only sending it, like I said, when Ficus picked it up on the beach, a couple well, 100 and so kilometers away.
Oh, it was weak. Yeah,
Yes, it
I
was very
forgot.
weak, and it seems to have been set up to continually broadcast a very low bandwidth, low power message for decades on end. And Ficus, with a quick glance over the machine, you can tell that this Imperial bunker has been transmitting an abandoned, you guess, or at least has been transmitting this repeated locator beacon for the better part of 2.5 centuries at this stage. Okay, so this bunker is about
Yeah.
250 years old.
I propose we we turn off the radio thing. It's not
What
doing
if-
anything.
what if we were able to transfer all the power from a really low band frequency to a higher band frequency that would go potentially off planet and do one big burst of energy now, kind of thing? Is that something that's possible?
You could send a very quick one-off burst for about half the power you currently have left. That would probably reach the outer edge of this system, but you have no idea whether or not this is the only planet in this system, or if there's any other habitable planets nearby at all. And it would not reach out deep into the void. Well, it would, like radio signals would work, but it would literally take millennia before it reached another habitable system, if you know what I mean.
Okay. So
Like
now
if
we
you
know
ac-
that piece of information.
Yeah, like if you
What's everyone's...
actually, I don't know if you've ever looked at like the history of radio waves or whatever, but we have like the Voyager satellites
Yeah.
outside. Yeah, the radio frequencies like of Earth when we first started using radio broadcasts have reached only slightly further than that into deep space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah, probably. Maybe we can check the logs first and see if we find useful information, and then
Yeah, I think turning the cogitators on first would be a good idea. Be able to detect if we know if it knows anything more than we do. Not going to be using that much power if we've got a week's worth of power left.
So you could just flip on well, there's a couple of cogitators. You could flip on the one that seems to be a communication log, or at least it records communication logs, or Vox communications rather. The other one seems to be just a generic, holds the archives of the commander of the facility, the orders it received, and things like that. And holds general personnel logs and things like that.
I think we should turn one on and then review the information, and then turn the next one on. Starting with the one with the logs, with the orders.
Okay, so turning on the one that logs the orders. Okay, so I presume you turn off the radio thing that's broadcasting the signal, right?
Uh, I'd say just in case that's like actually doing something other than what we think it is, maybe just leave it on for the moment.
Okay.
If it hasn't really drained that much power and would theoretically be able to go for another 100 years or something.
Well, it would, provided it's the only thing on and on the very low frequency it's doing now. Turning on everything else will like slowly erode it away quicker, but you get the idea.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think we just turn one thing on while leaving this thing still on.
Okay, so you're turning on the one that holds like the orders and the personnel logs and things like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
So
we'll turn
opening
on
it
the
up,
other one afterward.
yeah, opening up that, some things immediately become evident. So reading through a cursory log of the first few files, I guess like you're reading through it with Victus over your shoulder while the rest of them look around and secure the bunker, I guess. Um, you find immediately that this bunker is called Bulwark 2BA5, okay? And it seems to have been part of a Imperial Guard action on this planet roughly 5 centuries ago, okay? And you can tell from the name of this planet, or at least the names of this planet and the number of logs, that the name of this planet is. Let me just look for it real quick. Okay, I'm gonna have to learn how to pronounce this. Give me a second.
Brian.
No, it's got an actual name.
To anyone named Brian, that's not an actual name.
Stick burn.
It's not a good planet name, anyway.
Brian 4.
This planet will be Bob.
Dave.
Okay, so it records the name of this planet as this. That's the name of the planet.
Wow.
According to Google Translate, it's called Sedaboni 8s. Okay.
Yeah, Sedabon.
And if anyone has common lore Ixinad sector, you could roll that to know what planet you're on.
Common law what?
Ixinad sector, because that's the sector of space you're in.
Yeah, I totally got that one.
You do?
No.
Singing doesn't work, George. But
No, in one of the songs that he learned long ago, he learned all the names of the planets in the Ixibod sector.
okay, so looking on the star chart, can you guys find that planet for me?
Oh god.
You don't know anything about the planet, but you do know it's a planet in the sector that was somewhere around there.
Okay, let's select this. Half of us look.
Here's a hint. It's very close to Thadia Primaris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's down
Okay.
there to the left.
Oh, Forbidden World.
Yes. So you know from your brief looking over of astrological charts and things when you were traveling on the Light of Alantaris that Sadi Boniates is a very rarely spoken of planet that has been mostly cut from Imperial record. Forbidden by the Imperium at large. Why? It's never really asked why these planets are made forbidden, and you just simply know you're on a forbidden world of some kind, which immediately bodes ill that it's very likely this entire subsystem, or well, this entire system of planets, if there is any more in this system, have likely been, declared forbidden as well. So it's very unlikely there's any ships in orbit. And the only ships that would ever come here are probably inquisitorial ships that will turn up every couple centuries or millennia just to do a brief inspection to make sure no one's fucked with anything and then leave again. So if you wait around a couple of centuries, you might get rescued.
Okay, I grab a chair and get comfortable.
So it looks like we have to find our own way out of here. So
So,
if
going through the
if
rest
I
of the logs real
okay.
quick, just to get it done with. So you have an idea of what planet you're on, or in what system you're on. And looking through the Imperial Guard orders, you get a brief idea of why this planet may have been declared forbidden. It seems that at least 5 to 6 centuries ago, a minor Imperial Guard division was sent here to re-secure the planet from some sort of what appears to be outbreak of sedition. Apparently, it was a very small planet at that point, and a very minor regiment of Imperial Guardsmen, less than a couple thousand men, were sent to the planet, along with a strike fleet of 2 escorts and 1 Imperial naval frigate. When they got here, they deployed to the minor colonies around the planet to get rid of the seditious traders and to bring back Imperial order to the planet. The pacification was estimated to only take a week. Instead, it drudged on for decades. It appears that the Imperial Guard was ill-informed about the nature of the sedition on this planet, and when they got here, things took a drastic turn. According to the reports, what brief examples you can, they refer to a strange Xenos creature that seems to have taken root in the planet, and seems to have been spreading like wildfire over the surface of the planet. The Imperial Guard and the other forces that were attached to the minor regiment sent here to resecure it had no idea where this Xenos breed was coming from, and they had never been recorded on the planet before. Roughly a couple of decades into the engagement, it seems a order was given to evacuate the planet and to abandon all Imperial assets that couldn't be removed easily. So what was left of the small detachment that was given to this bunker seems to have abandoned it, and then upon orders from a mysterious source, simply shut everything down. However, nothing happens for centuries, roughly 250 years, and then suddenly, for some reason, this beacon became active again and constantly kept repeating that message to this location that you found. And you have no idea who activated it or why. There's no record or log of why the machine was turned on or why it was doing what it did. The last actual message is just simply the order to abandon the bunker and evacuate the planet, because it was deemed unsavable. So they simply abandoned the planet. What became of the strange Xenos breed that seems to have spread across the planet is completely unknown, and you guys haven't seen anything that even remotely resembles a creature. So it's all very strange.
Well, apart from the buzzing.
Mm-hmm. So the description of the strange Xenos creature given is a mismatch. There's no definite description of what the creature seems to be. In some, it's described as insectoid. In others, it's described as a humanoid mammal of some kind with large tufts of fur. The only thing that seems to be common between it all is that the Xenos is very primitive in its actions, but extremely bloodthirsty and aggressive. And it seemed to have endless numbers, which is very weird. Like, there's tales of minor skirmishes and battles throughout this planet, in which hundreds of Imperial Guardsmen killed thousands of these creatures, but they simply kept coming and eventually overwhelmed positions, dragging off Imperial Guardsmen, beating them to a pulp, ravaging them with talons and other things, and then dragging them off into the jungle, never to be seen again. And they seem to come again and again and again. This facility itself seems to have been one of the last to have been evacuated, holding off the endless horde of these Xenos creatures for several weeks before finally being evacuated. At that point, like I said, the Imperium simply abandoned this planet, and the Ordo Xenos declared it forbidden and off limits, and that was the end of it.
Can we find any information about other major camps in this planet?
It seems that the Imperial Guard did sort of a minor strategy of holding bunkers and sending kill squads into the jungle to try and purge these Xenos. So this seems to be the only bunker for around 300 or 400 kilometers. The next nearest ones are in sort of a grid pattern around the area, and they're quite a distance away.
Okay, so I was worried that potentially these foul Xenos had used this as a trap, and the beacon would draw us here. Someone would turn off the beacon, and that would alert the Xenos to our presence. So that's why I thought it would be best to leave it.
All right, see you later, Ollie.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. Seeing this new information, I think it's safe to turn off the beacon.
Really?
Yeah, they are primitive, no?
Yeah, the description of these Xenos is that they're extremely primitive but highly aggressive, like utterly bloodthirsty and without any semblance of intelligence except very basic. They wear what appears to be crude clothes and things like that, and there is something odd about the description of these creatures. They're described several times as mostly wielding primitive bladed weapons or clubs and things like that, and wearing like fur armor or ragged cloth armor. Whenever they were seen after an engagement with the Imperial Guard, some of them were shown wielding las rifles and things like that. But instead of firing the las rifles, they simply used them as clubs. So it seems they have no understanding of technology whatsoever. But they're extremely savage and bloodthirsty.
Okay.
I have to wonder if something that bloodthirsty spotting us in the forest wouldn't have just attacked outright. So maybe the thing we saw wasn't really the creatures being described here.
Or maybe
they were being controlled by a hive or some form of higher power.
Or maybe they are studying us, like seeing how they are going to attack us.
I just think that would probably demonstrate an intelligence that these things are not recorded as having.
But I mean, individual soldiers are retarded, while like commanders are intelligent and can control lots of forces. So
Gabriel looks angrily at Ficus.
Maybe the ones that we saw, the ones that we think we saw aren't soldiers but scouts, something like that.
Maybe.
Yeah, but I think it's safe to, if they use less rifles as clubs, I think they don't know how to read Vox message. So.
Okay. But if 1,000 troops were not able to put these down, or how many said?
Well, if an Imperial Guard regiment was sent here, it could be. There's no real standard unit of regiment in the Imperial Guard, but according to the numbers you can see, there was at least 5,000 men sent to secure this planet, and roughly half that number died in the decade or so long war with the strange Xenos creatures. The colony itself was completely destroyed or abandoned, and then after repeated losses and a investigation apparently by the Ordos Xenos, this planet was declared inhabitable for human life and declared forbidden because of the strange Xenos breed, and everything was evacuated and abandoned.
This bunker is this bunker is very fortified, right?
Extremely fortified. Yeah.
Okay.
If you guys shut the giant adamantine doors, locked them, and bunkered everything up, you guys would be quite secure in here. Yeah.
Yeah. After reading the report of the Xenos aggressiveness, I close everything.
Unlock the doors, sure.
But the Vox signals were coming from within the facility.
Someone around 250 years ago, 250 years after this engagement with these Xenos, and everything was abandoned, somehow this strange, the strange frequency was rebroadcast again. And looking over at Ficus, with like your technical skills, obviously, you see that no rite was commenced normally, like a normal tech priest or anyone who was training it to use it. Someone simply manipulated the machinery crudely to, send it off the way it is, and then just sort of left it where it is.
But that was still over 200 years ago.
Yeah, over 250 years ago, yeah. And then it's just simply been rebroadcasting again and again using the barest amount of energy for like 2.5 centuries. So the reactor that powers this bunker, which is in this room over here, the Mechanicus lab thing, is almost out of energy. And it seems that the Mechanicus genitors that were sent to this planet were sent here to investigate what this strange Xenos breed was, and they were attempting to learn about them, but they seem to have learned very little.
Okay, so let's try to decide what's our next course of action. I think just standing here and getting comfortable is going to get us nowhere. So I assume we aren't using the facilities like water and stuff. Is there any food left here?
There are ration packs, but they're like 500 years old, so
Yeah.
probably not the best thing to eat.
Flo
We
isn't
could just try
picky.
feeding it to Zarkov. Oh,
Stuff it in Zarkov's mouth. Is it edible, Zarkov? Is it edible? It's just like dust at this stage.
Well, I could put it in my mouth and swallow it. Does that mean it's edible?
If you're partial to dust, I guess.
no, anyone? Dust.
Just add water.
Then it becomes dirty water.
Paste,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, paste. Literally paste.
Nutrient paste.
So we already went through every information source in this camp, right?
Yep. So I mean, you have a good detail about like a description of these Xenos, but none of them seem to match. Like all the Xenos seem to have like scaly, sort of hairy hides. Their faces look more like mandibles, sort of like insectoid than anything else. They're very bloodthirsty and wield strange weapons, like I said, but none of them seem to match a distinct xenotype. Like, you know the way humans generally look like other humans, despite variations of race and everything? These Xenos, a lot of them look very different, if you know what I mean. Some of them looked very insectoid, some of them looked, like I said, more mammal, but they all seem to just be a bloodthirsty horde. It was very, very strange. They're all humanoid creatures that wielded primitive clubs or blades, but that was about it. And even if they got more advanced weapons like las carbines or whatever that they stole off the Imperial Guard, they simply used them as like tools to beat them to death with like
Are
clubs.
they the Zindi?
No. From Star Trek Enterprise.
You said those ape-like ones, insectoidalized ones.
There's all kinds of ones. Like they all
Exactly,
seem
yeah.
to be just like hulking bipedal creatures that are scaly, hairy, and utterly bloodthirsty. But their faces
Yeah,
are all like different. Some of them are like wolfish. Some of them are ape-like. Some of them are insectoid-like. It's kind of hard to get a
Zindi.
distinct idea, I guess, kind of.
So basically, in this camp, the only thing we still didn't do is the broadcasting of the new signal, but I think that's going to be worthless because there's no ships around.
Well, yeah, that's the question. Is it actually going to be able to get far enough to go to? Because we were pretty close to Fadia Primaris, right? So is it actually going to be that long, or is it really, really fast?
That's still light years. I mean,
Okay.
you know, that's still like a couple of weeks for the warp, which is like a long ass time. So, I mean, you guys could use the equipment in here to scan the orbital area to see if there are any ships or anything around. Like, I mean, you could do that as well. I mean, you can do anything you can really think of. I mean, you have a full facility with all of that equipment. So.
Yeah, we know that there's another larger facility and potentially an entire
Well,
colony.
you know there are other facilities like this. The colony itself, it doesn't describe where it was. It just describes that it was lost to the Xenos breeds like 3 or 4 years into the war and completely abandoned. It doesn't say where it is, though.
Okay. Well, what does everyone else think? I think we should try heading for a larger facility. Hope that it has either more power or like better something.
I don't know, it seemed like this one was the last one to be shut down, so...
Yeah, but I mean, there's the last one to be shut down, and then there's like they shut this. Someone shut this down 300 years ago. Someone else came and has been using the power of this generator to run it for 200 years. So potentially another one has like another active, well, non-active right now, but has fuel.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any idea
Generator.
which direction to be heading to find one, though? It's like a bird in the hand here.
Do we want?
The logs are typically elusive Imperial. They're in they're in a sort of encryption that would only be known to this Imperial Guard regiment of their exact coordinates. But you can guess, based upon your knowledge of Imperial battle tactics, that if they were trying to do a purgation of this planet for Xenoses, they very likely built bunkers like this every couple of 100 kilometers in like a grid pattern and sent out teams to like purge the local area, if you know what I mean. Kind of like, when the Normans did when they invaded England, they built castles every couple of kilometers and then used it to like suppress the local population, kind of thing, if you know what I mean. That kind of idea. So,
Did you say that we could use the machinery on this bunker to inspect the planet?
yes,
Make
you can.
searches?
This has very advanced scanning equipment, so you could scan the planet. You could even scan like the orbit of the planet in the arc, like above where this bunker is, to see if there was anything. You could do anything you want.
Yeah, I asked Picus if he wants to, if he thinks it's feasible to search for the larger camps, the
Yes.
colony with this equipment.
I'll both search the planet and the surrounding orbit, just in case there is something of potential use to it.
Okay, do a tech use test. Okay, so doing a brief auger scan with the array that's at the top of this building, it wheels to life. Sorry, for the first time in like 250 years. It's a bit rusty, but you manage to get the equipment working, and you start scanning like low orbit and the area in about 500 kilometers around you. And you do get back a few interesting pings. You can detect that there is something giving off an Imperial signal in orbit. Secondly, you can detect that there are multiple things that aren't giving off any signals in and around your area, but they consist of metals that are consistent with Imperial design. One of them appears to be a downed aircraft of some kind, perhaps an Imperial Guard aircraft of some kind that was shot down or abandoned somewhere off on the planet. Other places seem to indicate structures which are similar in design to this one, roughly 600 or so kilometers southwest of your current position. And then to your north, nearly 800 kilometers away, you can see what appears to be the outline of a very large series of derelict structures. Okay, that's everything you can detect.
Okay.
Possibly a city.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind looking for the aircraft.
Yeah, but can any of us fly an airship?
And like I said, there's a ping in orbit as well.
Yeah, that's the first thing I want to look into.
Should I do a more detailed scan of the orbital ping, or is there not everyone you can do that?
Yeah, you can go. You can even like send it a frequency to try and connect with it or anything like that. Sure.
Yeah, I'll try. Should I tech use it or?
Yeah, go for it. It's at a +10.
Oh, well.
You can reroll with a fate point if you want.
If it's a +10, it would
Or
be a
bump it
0
over.
point and bump it over.
Okay, then I bump it over. If that's going to be useful enough, that is.
Yeah, well. Okay, so you connect to it, and immediately, blaring on the cogitator screen before you from the auger array, comes back a coded message. And once you get through the very light encryption of it, you can read what it says, and it says the following. By order of the Holy Inquisition of the Ordo Xenos, the world of Sabionitis is declared forbidden in extremis from all imperial citizenry until the end of known time. This is by order of the Holy Inquisition, Lord Grand Master, yada yada yada, goes on like that for a while. Anyone caught here will be punishable under death, etc., etc., etc. So it seems to be a warning buoy left by the Inquisition.
So an automated response.
Yes, it's a warning buoy that's simply been left in orbit to warn any approaching Imperial ships that this planet is declared forbidden, under penalty of death.
Oh, crap.
And it seems to be relaying this in a very large, broad frequency throughout the entire system.
Well, shit.
Can we trip some form of alarm that'll mean that it'll send out a signal to bring people here to fuck us up?
You could perhaps try and alter what the buoy is sending out in frequency, yeah.
Okay. Does everyone else think that is a good idea?
The thing is, they won't know that it's us, and basically they will just bomb us from space or something like that. That's the thing I'm fearful, but yeah, we can do that. We still have stuff to explore. The airship and the large and the buildings up north. Yeah, like you can do that. They will take time to come over here, so knock yourself out.
I don't know.
Let's just
If
keep
it's worth it.
exploring for now. I mean, I thought maybe it was possibly a ship, but it isn't, so...
Is the power source removable? Like, can I take it with me?
It's a big giant reactor that's like 3 meters tall and like.
I don't mean
I
don't mean the reactor itself, but just the fuel, like the rods.
Is there a fuel cell? Yeah.
The raw fuel is like radioactive, so unless you want to carry that around, that's unlikely.
Zarkov will carry it.
You'll still die. You probably all die because it's in the radio. It's like you need a shielding, if you know what I mean. So.
Yeah.
It's a plasma reactor if you're interested.
Well, what the hell? Let's risk it. Like, if you can change the buoy message, like to, I don't know, if you can mess with it just to provoke someone coming here. Let's risk it.
Okay, well, I'll do that then. I'll see how well it...
Okay, so do a tech use test to try and get through the encryption on the buoy to attempt to alter its message.
This seems like something that we'd get punished for, too. I mean, no one's going to come and rescue us after doing this.
We are the Inquisition.
They won't ever do that anyway.
So do you want to send the message out in a certain... let's put it this way, a certain thing that the Inquisition might recognize as another on? Yeah.
Yeah.
Glory.
Inquisition, the interrogator, and Silence Beckons.
Yeah, big giant head comes in and goes, "Show me what you've got." That episode is
Go big at Swifty.
Yeah.
Does our group have a name? Like?
No, you're just simply the acolytes of Silence Beckons. If you
remember. we start the message like we, the acolytes of Silence Beckons, ask.
This is all in Gloria, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I presume. Is Gloria only known to our group, or?
Gloria is only known to the people who follow the Inquisitor Silence Beckons, who you've never met. So
then I suppose we don't do in Gloria.
It just looks like
yes,
gibberish to everybody else, if you know what I
I
mean.
think we should do it in that and say something else in like normal.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if we say in Gloria, if someone else picks the message, they don't want to know what it means, and they won't.
Yeah, but he's gonna say it like come here, help us, blah blah blah, or whatever, and then speak like the Inquisitional Gloria can't, basically. So. He's trying to do two at the same time, so that
Yeah.
even if someone knows you're here, they might not be generally friendly, but maybe you can work something out. But with luck, maybe they'll pass it on to the Inquisition, and someone from your cadre will figure it out.
Okay.
Yep, so if that's the way you want to alter it, you do eventually, after several hours of work, manage to crack through the encryption and send off the message. So you can alter the way the buoy works to start, instead of it spreading a very large bandwidth frequency all across this system, you could instead roll a tech use to try and alter to send a very short band frequency in a very particular direction at a very fast speed to try and make it reach, Tadia Primaris, yeah.
I think that would be useful, to be honest, because that's where they think we are, so they're going to be looking for things there.
Mm-hmm.
Do I need the tech use to do that again?
Yeah, you'll need a tech use test to alter how the array is working. Yeah.
Is the array using lasers to do that?
It is.
Right, then I get a +10 to it.
Lasers!
Clamp.
Clamps.
Damn it.
Okay, so it is beyond your capabilities to alter this arcane
Rolled a
machinery.
91.
Can he roll again after some time, like a next attempt, or this is failed? No more.
He doesn't know how to do it. So unless he finds some way of working it out, he has no idea how to do it yet.
I have tech use. Could I do it?
Oh, you could try, yeah.
But
Perhaps you're more familiar with Imperial Guard machinery than he is.
Yeah, would I get a plus something?
Nope.
Well, shit.
I mean, would we be able to say that someone was helping me do this?
You could, yeah. I mean, if he gets a couple of degrees of success, we can add that onto yours, so we'll see.
No.
Yeah, no.
Should I fate point that?
Okay, go for it.
Wait, before rolling. Laser clamp. Okay, go ahead. God damn it.
There is no
Really?
laser clamp, good. Alright, so no, you can't alter the frequency, but you did alter it to send out that message in a large band frequency all across the system, so hopefully someone will be passing by. With luck, maybe some person who shouldn't be snooping around may pick it up, or a passing ship in the warp might pick it up. So, you guys are otherwise stuck on this planet, and after traveling through the night and expending several hours exploring this thing, because of the fast pace of the planet, like I said again, it has started to get dark again. And you guys are quite tired, because you haven't slept in about 16 hours now.
After securing the place, we call it a night and sleep.
Okay, so there are crew quarters in the main tower on the second floor, if you guys want to stay there. You could also turn on... it gets quite cold on this planet during the night, because temperatures drop rapidly in like tropical planets.
We have the storm weather outfit. Would that provide warmth?
Yeah, it would. I mean, you guys could do it. You could also turn on the heating if you wanted to, and like even turn on the showers, but that could be considered a frivolous use of limited power.
Yeah, I think that it's... we are leaving this place, so yeah, why not?
Okay, so you're going to turn on the power to the hop quarter then? Okay.
I ask Ficus if that's intelligent.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Alright, so you turn on the power to the hop quarter, and you guys... I guess you're all going to bumble in there for the night, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you guys can literally take like your first hot shower in several hours, and there's actual like decent beds here that have been constructed out of material that's supposed to last for a very long time, so you can get a pretty decent night's sleep.
Hell yes.
Okay, so everybody who's like sleeping during the night, make an awareness test for me.
Everyone who's sleeping, make an awareness test?
Well, everybody who's in that room, make an awareness test. Just everybody make an awareness
Is
test.
it based on hearing?
Yes.
I'm going to reroll that. After If anyone fails, I'll...
What the fuck?
I'm deaf.
I rolled 97.
You never roll anything below 90, so...
Oh, okay, Phil got it.
Okay.
I mean...
So, anyone who passes this can swear that, like the people who realized that the other night, you pointed out that there were no sounds during the night. It's very different tonight. Tonight, the air all around, just outside the bastions, thick walls that you can barely hear through, but due to the sheer, sound coming around, you can hear a very different night than what you've heard so far on this planet. There's a lot of chittering, there's a lot of strange noises as if a large amount of things are shifting through the night, and you're quite sure there are several dozen things outside the bastion moving into the jungle just outside the periphery. So like the noise is so loud there has to be at least several dozen creatures moving around close by.
Is there any other exit?
The only way in and out of this facility is through that main door that you shut and bolted tight.
After Ficus tells us about the sound, basically we are hearing in the close proximity, basically outside the building.
Literally just outside the building, you can hear like chittering sounds. You can hear like skulking creatures moving around. You can hear like the general movement of animals or things that you would presume to be animals moving around close by.
Okay. This might mean battle. I was thinking of maybe laying some traps in, like, you see this corridor, laying some traps, and then opening the door. But I don't know what role would be for traps.
Oh, by the way, the Mechanicus Genitors, that came here to investigate this strange Xenos breed for the Imperial Guard and study them, classified this alien race that appeared out of nowhere as that, okay?
Okay.
Can I just call them Dave?
Call them whatever you want, man. That's just what the Mechanicus called them.
Yeah.
So, any of you that are now being made aware of the noise in the middle of the night can hear from down the corridor, down, the stairwell down off in the direction of the communicator. You can hear banging on the adamantine door like someone is throwing themselves against it. At least 3 or 4 different creatures are trying to break in through the door. They're quite loudly banging, so anyone who didn't hear it before is now wide awake with the sound of like the adamantine doors buckling under the stress of being pummeled. You'll know they'll probably hold. It would take like an explosion to break through the doors, but something is definitely trying to get in.
Can Boone or someone else work the turret?
Yep. You need to power it up, but you could totally work it, and it has ammo stores left.
Is there any weapon training I need to have?
Nope. Well, what weapon training do you have? Because it uses solid projectiles.
Heavy weapon training, solid projectiles?
Yes, you can use it then.
So, am I inside the turret then, or how does that work?
You'll have to get up there and manually use it, yeah.
Yeah, but am I inside it or am I outside?
You're outside it, sitting on a seat, moving it through.
Yeah.
It's like powered servos, if you know what I mean, to turn it around.
I'm going with Boone because they can climb up and...
Well, the bastion's been specifically designed to prevent people from climbing up it, if you know what I mean. But they could climb it up with a very difficult check. Yeah.
I'll stay beside him.
I'm gonna follow up stairs as well.
Be here.
So anyone who goes up the stairwell and opens the hatch up to the forward thing for Boone to get on the gun, when you look over the bastion walls, you see the following misshapen creatures.
Is this Murlocs?
Nope. So they wield crude and strange weapons, like I said. Some of them clearly have like the butts of what remains of Imperial Guard las carbines that look centuries old and are muddied and like broken with age, have been whacked against things and things like that. But there are dozens of these strange Xenos creatures. Most of them are like frothing at the mouth, banging their weapons on the ground or against crude like malformed shields of their own bodies. And when they see you, they almost go into a bloodthirsty roar, and several of them immediately charge the bastion and attempt to start climbing up it, hanging onto vines and things like that. The ones at the door keep attempting to break the door down. Others just immediately start climbing and try to get up. Okay, so let me just...
As that happens, I also go to the edge.
Mm-hmm.
And I say to the group to start firing or basically kill them before they climb up.
Alright, roll initiative.
Yeah, is there any stats for the gun, by the way?
A Hydra gun. It's basically a... Let me look it up real quick.
Or will I just kill a bunch of them if I hit?
Don't mind the ones that are at the door. Kill the ones that are like here.
Climbing.
I don't think he can shoot the ones climbing, but the ones beside them, like these ones.
Mm-hmm.
Because the ones at the door, they aren't going to do much.
No, they aren't.
Okay, so it's a Hydra autocannon. Okay, essentially it is a twin-linked autocannon. Okay,
Okay.
so stats for an autocannon. Let me just look up. Okay, so autocannons do this. Let me just look for it. Okay, so because it's the Hydra variant, the only thing that you need to know is different is the range is still the same, but the it's single shot, single shot. Sorry, 3 semi-auto or 6 full auto. Okay, does 3d10 plus 8 impact, pen 6, and it has the what do you call it? Twin linked property. That means that it automatically uses twice the ammunition, but gains plus 20 to hit. Okay,
Okay.
and that's everything you need to know about it.
Yeah.
If you want to add that to like your thing.
Yep.
It's called a Hydra autocannon. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna roll for these guys.
With the fact that these things are like weird ass looking creatures that all look strangely different, it kind of makes me think back to the fact that this guy was trying to create weird universes with this machine thing. Like, is there any way I can make sure that I'm not in some form of weird, twisted universe?
Do you want to pinch yourself? Maybe that will work. Um. Anyway, Mira, your turn. There's dozens of these strange Xenos creatures attempting to climb up the walls while others try to bash the door in.
Yep. Guess I'll take a shot at one of the ones that are climbing down here.
Alright. Yeah, it's about 8 meters below you. The bastion walls are above you.
Yep. I think that's correct.
Yep. So
it's a burst. So 2 shots.
it doesn't try to dodge. It's just it's frothing at the mouth in a complete blood frenzy. It's just totally captivated on getting you to kill you. So it doesn't even attempt to dodge.
And
So roll damage. Okay, you can see all of these are wearing some sort of furred hide, furred scaly hide that doesn't seem to really do much against the bolter shells. So you explode into its body and your shells rip it to pieces and it dies.